Hello, everyone. This is Tony Marcano here, and I'm here with my good friend and companion, Joel Daly, and we're here to present to you a special episode of the Boogie Down Beat Down, and it's a fitness episode where I interview a personal trainer, and we talk about fitness in the Bronx. We talk about what are great things to do for your physical health, and we'll also discuss a lot of Joel's aspirations to improve the fitness of the people of the Bronx. So, Joel, can you tell us about your background as a personal trainer?
All right, thank you for having me on, Anthony. So my background started with my personal journey itself. I was over 260 pounds personally, as recent as of 2021, and that was my journey. Right now, I'm currently 170 because I've dropped to 160, but I'm trying to bounce back up, gain some more muscle. But that was my journey, losing over about 100 pounds. It wasn't so easy in the sense while I was in college, I was an athlete and a student at the same time, and still had the weight on, and that was rough. Mainly dealing with just muscle building and trying to learn how to lose the weight. So in college, I minored in fitness and nutrition, so I could learn how to properly scale my meals along with my fitness workouts. And then once I passed those minors, it was flying colors. I started really understanding, and I really started seeing the weight drop off, but the muscle stay on. And then after that, I was training some of my teammates, and I realized that, hey, I really like training people and I find this interesting. So I got my certification from NASM and then went into working at Blink at Parkchester, locally in the Bronx. And then ever since then, it's been what, 2 years now? I've been a trainer there, and it's been great.
Do you do personal training at other gyms, or just Blink at
Mainly just at Blink at the moment, yes.
Okay, okay. What are common fitness misconceptions and how do you deal with them with your clients?
The biggest misconceptions is, for example, you have to sweat or you have to be sore at the end of a workout to know it's a great workout. That's one of the biggest misconceptions. You can, with the workout, you can come in, barely break a sweat, but as long as your sets and your volume was at a good appropriate level where you feel challenged, that's a great workout. You don't need to come out feeling sore. Usually feeling sore meant that you overworked the muscle, and we don't want to do that. We want to make sure you work it just enough so that you get all the hypertrophy and none of the pain or the extended recovery time. So that's the biggest misconceptions I try and break out of my new clients, usually by showing them, by usually putting them in an intense workout where first we do a baseline. See, for example, let's say we're doing chest. We might do push-ups baseline just to see how many push-ups they could do. Or maybe if push-ups is too hard, maybe we might do a bench press or something like that with a dumbbell or the bar, and we see how much they can do in that one set. Then maybe we'll do if they're first time, we might do 2 sets. That might be more than enough to get them feeling sore or feeling the muscle soreness a couple days later. Or if they're relatively in the gym, in and out of the gym, maybe we might do 3 or 4 sets of 12 and then see how that feels. And then usually what will happen is when they come back with me the next week, they'll be like, oh yeah, I felt like my muscle was really sore. I didn't think we did a lot, but it was very interesting. And then that usually piques their interest. And then that's when I start to teach them, okay, what's the best ways to like work out, how to eat, stuff like that.
What are key elements of a successful fitness journey from your perspective?
It's almost 100% the nutrition. So a lot of people will think that you can just go into the gym and just work out and burn off all the fat. Majority of the time, we only burn off a select amount of calories when we work out. Majority of the weight loss or muscle building too comes from what you eat. So when it
Your
comes
body
to,
is a temple, as it's the phrase goes.
yes, as that phrase goes, yes, really, your belly, your stomach is the temple, and what you put in it, you will look like in a sense. So, but that there's also misconception with food as well. It's also based on calories in versus calories out. You can eat poorly and still lose weight, but you wouldn't be able to eat a lot. For example, if you went to McDonald's and you had a Big Mac meal, that meals would probably be your only meal for the day because it's anywhere between 1,000 to 2,000 calories. And if you're trying to lose weight, maybe your calorie cutoff is maybe at 1,800. So that meal would be the only meal you could have for a day. But if you had the discipline and the drive to only eat that one meal, then you'd still be able to lose weight. But it's recommended and it's easier to use more calorie lower nutrition dense items, like for example veggies and stuff like that, where they're less calories but they have more nutrition, so you can stay fuller longer, so it's easier. So for example, you that's where the nutrition comes in, where you would want to segment and break down your breakfast, your lunch, or if you don't want to break it down into meals like that, you can segment it into calories. So for example, you could make one meal 500 calories, another meal 600, and so on, and then match it based on your calorie cap for the day or for the week if you want to do it like that. Yeah.
How do you go about creating personalized fitness plans for your clients?
So there's two ways you can kind of go about it. You can go about it with the fitness assessments. So for example, with NASM, they taught us the overhead squat assessment and stuff like that to see if a person has any problems in certain joints or if they have any injuries or if we need to work on a certain area more than another. Maybe they cannot squat fully and we need to address that. Or you can put somebody through more of like a circuit with easier exercises, more common exercises that are known, like jumping jacks, push-ups, squats, sit to stands instead of squats, stuff like that, where you can see them do the motion and see if they have any impairments or if they're struggling with any movements, and you can either regress it or progress it as you go. Usually I do that version because the assessment is a little bit slower, and a lot of clients are looking, at least for their first session, they're looking for that exciting movie type of not movie but moving type of session where they're moving a lot, they're trying to sweat, they want to see everything. So you usually I would go towards the general exercises, like I'll make them do it in a circuit. So I'll probably start off with either a overhead squat slam, pick up. Usually, and if it's too hard for them, I would regress it to like a ball squat. And then after that, I'd maybe go into like bicep curls into an overhead press. And then after that, maybe do a hamstring deadlift RDLs with a kettlebell. And then maybe after that, try maybe do some calf raises to just to see, just general going from top to bottom, and then seeing how they move with that, how they deal with that. Maybe do general push pull, so push ups, pull ups, stuff like that on an easier basis. Regress as need be, and then after that, not only will they be excited because they're seeing exercises that they've seen before and they know, so they don't feel too awkward in the workout, but also that they can get the so I can see everything. I can see how their muscles are moving when they're doing compound movements like push-ups, pull-ups, stuff like that. And then
Yeah, and
after that,
Joel is truly great in helping people's posture. He helped me a lot in my early days of my fitness journey in perfecting my squats and my posture in general. I have scoliosis, and he really helped me strengthen
oh
my
yeah,
back,
those are
and
some
yes,
foundational.
strengthen myself in general. Yeah, I walk straight now, thanks to Joel.
Thank you. No, yeah, it was fun those days too. So, and then after that, after we do that, I'll break it down to the client. Maybe depending on their goals, I'll say, hey, maybe we need to meet a lot of times during the week, or maybe if they're just looking for general fitness, maybe we just need to meet once a week. And I'll let them know that their progress will be slower, but they just need to stick to it and stay consistent. Then after that, the next couple sessions, I'll start to ask them questions about their diet, what they're eating, if they're drinking water, if they're drinking, like for example, if they're drinking their calories, I would tell them to stop drinking juice, soda, stuff like that. Then I would tell them, for example, try and get away from the processed foods, because or at least lower it. You can maybe have one of your meals could be a processed meal, because it's impossible to go completely clean. You want your diet to be about 80% clean or good to 20%, where you're having your fun, you're eating out or stuff like that. So you try and
You're having your cheat days like maybe
yes,
once a
stuff
week.
like that. Stuff like that in a sense. Or you can even have it in the day of, where basically speaking, your whole day isn't completely clean. You could have maybe a cheat snack or a cheat item here so that you won't binge or bounce back to your old habits. So because most of us still have sweet tooth, most of us still have those old habits, and processed foods are really addictive. So the moment you taste it, sometimes after being off of a binge for maybe a couple months, you bounce back into your old habits and you start binge eating, and then you gain all that weight again. Then you feel defeated and you stop going to the gym, and then the process ends. So usually we try and just have a little bit in there. So I figure out, for example, I ask my clients what's their favorite type of dessert items, what foods they like the most, or what things they think they need to have in their diet, and then we'll build around that. So then after that, let's say they need coffee or they need cookies or something like that. That's fine. We'll just portion size it first. Then after that, we'll wrap it around. Maybe if they're doing coffee, maybe with the coffee, maybe we might have a proper meal alongside it. If they don't have enough time in the mornings, maybe it might just be something like toast or avocado toast or something small. Or maybe if they really don't have time, maybe you might make a meal replacement protein shake where you'd add veggies, you'd add maybe peanut butter, maybe oatmeal, protein powder, milk, and that would be basically a meal replacement that you could take maybe if you're off to work as quickly as possible. And then we would work around that. Maybe look at their lunch, maybe do more fruits, maybe do veggies, maybe introduce some fish or stuff like that. And then we would keep it up that way. And then after that, after we finally get the nutrition down, they would come back one more time towards the fitness realm. Because at that point, they would start to get more used to the gym, used to the workout. So at this point, I would make it more challenging. We would introduce maybe a circuit in there. We would introduce more cardio, and it would introduce more strength building. And then
How
that's how
do
I
you
usually start.
stay updated with the latest trends as a personal trainer, the latest fitness trends?
So that's one thing when it comes to when it comes to the fitness um industry. NASM, at least when it comes to NASM or when it comes to your certification, they require you every couple of years to continue your education. So that's one way you stay on top of your toes. For example, I just finished one of my specializations, which was corrective exercise specialization,
Nice.
and that was adding on to my certification.
So
So
almost like a nurse, you're always getting certified,
yes,
different
you're always
certifications.
adding on either more certifications or newer just newer things in a sense, CPR certification, stuff like that, so that you can add on to your overall certified personal training certification. That needs to get redone every couple of years. But even then with that, sometimes just looking at social media is some ways I try and keep up as well. Not necessarily looking at the exercise they're doing, but looking at what these influencers are pushing out and what they're trying to teach people in the sense. So for example, some influencers might teach people that they can keep a six-pack abs all the time, or that they need to be eating calories lower than 1,000 calories a day, which is not necessarily healthy, and stuff like that. So then when my clients come in and they're like, hey, I saw on Instagram this guy said I should only be eating 800 calories today, that's when I'm like, oh yes, I already seen that. And then now I have either peer reviewed research that I could throw to the client if they're that type of client that
And it
likes to have
disproves
information.
it disproves certain
Yes.
misinformation out there.
Or I'll just talk to them regularly and maybe show them other YouTube or other influencers, maybe because some people like to have that video representation as well. So I might show them a YouTuber or IG influencer that I agree with relatively, send a video that responds to that, or we'll just have a conversation. I usually depending on the client, I defer my response. But
And here you go, folks. Joel is very knowledgeable. One of the most knowledgeable guys in my early stage of personal training. That in my early stage of receiving personal training, I'd say that Joel was the most knowledgeable guy I trained with in Blink Fitness, and he's a great mind for fitness. And I think yes, conversing with him as a client is yes a wonderful experience. You yes learn a lot. It's almost like taking a college course in fitness every
no,
time
yeah,
you talk to
I go
Joel.
on tirades sometimes when I'm training my clients too. Anthony definitely can, talk about that.
No, but it's positive.
Oh
It can
yeah,
be, it's a positive experience
yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
more often. Can you share a success story of one of your most recent clients?
Most recent client could even be the one I had today. Her name was Abigail.
Mhm.
She just wanted to just slowly gain weight and get stronger. And we've gained about 10 pounds, about 10 pounds in general, but about 5 to 6 pounds of muscle. So now she's seeing proper changes, and she's really excited for the gym, which is also another great thing. When your clients start to see the results that they're looking for, they get super excited, which makes you excited, because then now the workouts are like, you bounce off of each other. So now she's more excited. She wants to try new things. And those are the that's when it's like really great. One of my more, I would say, greater stories in a sense when it comes to overall would be Michelle, one of my clients who's had double hip replacement, has a knee
Wow.
problem, a hip injury. I mean, double hip replacement, has didn't get the knee replacement, but has knee problems and has ankle problems. And now, when she first came in, she could barely walk. She couldn't run. She was constantly in pain. Now she can run. She can jump. She can walk. She's always like, we saw her on Friday. She wants to make me what food recently, because she's just so hyped. But just overall in general, she's now no pain. She's Now we're starting to lose the weight because we had to focus on the form and just focus on the pain in general. But now no more swelling, no more pain. She can walk up and down the stairs because at least where she lives, her elevator isn't working. So that was another major problem with her day-to-day commute. She couldn't get up the stairs because I think she was on the 8th floor. So now she said that's an easy thing. She can do that. She has her day back because of it. Now she doesn't. And then before, she used to be in constant pain to the point where her husband was have to constantly massage her, or she would have to take medication. Now she's not on that anymore. She doesn't need it. Now, I mean, she does the massages, because just for the fun of it, but not because of the pain, which is great. And then now she can move. Now I've even able to
The
make her do.
massages are now just for the romance.
Yeah. But now she's even like, I can even make her do jumping jacks and running in place. Before, she couldn't do that without severe pain. So now it's a lot better. And then, so that's one. She's my greatest in a sense when it comes to greatest accomplishments in the goals.
Oh, you see that? Like, that's just a wonderful story about how exercise and fitness is very valuable to the community of the Bronx. It's like a special type of healing, because now, like you said, this person who maybe had a lack of mobility in herself, she kind of got her mobility back. She's in way better shape, and yes, goes to is a testament to how wonderful being part of the fitness community is. And you could see it's a testament to how great Joel is as a trainer, man. Like, I love Joel and the wonderful stuff that he does over there for the Blink Fitness community in Parkchester. He's a very not only knowledgeable guy, but a guy that also is very compassionate to his clients and always does his very best.
Thanks for that.
Okay. What are some common challenges that your clients face?
The biggest one is consistency. I would say staying consistent with seeing the results, because the results aren't always. A lot of people will assume, especially because of social media, they think that results pop up within the month or within 2 months. So they'll come into the gym, they'll work out, and then within a month or so, if they don't see results or if they barely see anything, they start to get frustrated, and then they start to wonder what's going on. So even and that's especially when they're on their own. Usually with me, when I'm with my clients, usually within a month, you might not fully see results, but you start to feel it. And then by 2 to 3 months, then you'll start to see it. But usually just keeping them motivated and keeping them on track and staying consistent is usually the biggest challenges for them, in the sense of like, because it gets demoralizing, especially if you have to weigh yourself, or especially if you're looking at yourself every day and you're like, you want to hit this certain goal, and you keep thinking about that goal. It can be demoralizing because your goal could take months, it could take a year, it depends on how severe, how much the goal is, and how hard the goal is too. So that's the biggest one, trying to keep them on track, keep them consistent.
And going back to the last question, also, yeah, I think that was great sense of information. And going back to your the last question that we hit, shout out to your client Abby, who I think I met once.
Oh yeah,
very
yes, you
nice,
guys
very
met before. Yes, I
fashionable.
think you was training, I think before or after her, I cannot remember. But yeah,
Yeah,
you guys met for like briefly. Yes,
yeah.
she's
So
made
shout
some
out
great
to her.
progress.
Very
Yeah,
nice,
she's made
very
some
nice.
great progress now. So yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, how do you adapt your training methods for your clients?
So I always see it's just mainly just progressive overload. So based on what, so for example, we'll progressively overload based on what their goals are. So let's say they're looking to gain muscle in their chest, for example. We would start off maybe with push-ups or bench press, and then we'd start off with a certain weight. Let's say we started at 12 or 20 pounds or stuff, something like that. We would work like that maybe for a week or two. You'd get comfortable with it, and then just when you get comfortable, I'd bump it up to maybe 22 or 25, and then it would be just enough challenging, and we'd keep it in full range of motion where you could still do and good form, and then we'd progressively overload like that. And then also too, we would add more advanced exercises into it. For example, maybe we might have started maybe with legs, maybe we would have started with a ball squat where there's a stability ball on the wall and your back's against it and you're squatting down and up. And then the progression to that could be a regular squat or a back squat with a barbell on your back, maybe because now you've gotten more core strength and more overall strength. Or maybe a single split squat. If you're really advanced, we could do the split squat or Bulgarian split squat or single leg step up, stuff like that. And we progress like that and then integrate it into the workout. And then also too, I base it off of your feedback as well. I ask you which exercise you like the most, which ones wasn't really your favorite, and then ask you if it was wasn't your favorite because it was hard, or if it's maybe it was an exercise that was too revealing in a sense. Some of these exercises put you in a position that you might not be comfortable with, at least in a gym. So if I ask you that, you're like, hey, I'm not comfortable with this exercise, I can always swap it out and still work that same muscle. You just need to communicate with each other. But if you're saying, oh, it's because it's too hard, I'll probably give you that exercise next first. Because the harder one, the ones that you usually dislike or the ones that are too hard, usually that we need to work on. But yeah.
I see. So, what is like a great advice that you would give someone who's just starting your his or her fitness, his or her fitness goals?
The best advice I would say is to start. Just try best to be as consistent as possible. It does. You don't need to go every single day. You don't even need to go 4 times a week, 3 times a week. Once a week is just fine. You can start off. It could literally be you just coming into the gym and doing 10 minutes of cardio, and then going home. You just want to start getting used to the fact of, hey, taking some time out of your day to go and work on yourself, to exercise in some way, shape, or form, and then maybe even um over time just slowly build it up. So you might start with 10 minutes on the treadmill, then 20, then 30, then finally you're in the gym, then you're splitting it, 30 minutes cardio, then 10 minutes you're looking around the gym. Or if this is if somebody didn't have the funds for personal training, they would look around the gym, maybe ask the gyms. Many gyms, for example Blink Fitness, we have pamphlets where we, for beginners, where we could give you a pamphlet where it gives you a list of 10 to 12 exercises with the assisted machines, and it shows you how to do it, and you could do it that way. So if you're a new person, you can always go to your front desk and ask those front desk employees if they have anything for new members who are looking to work out and you're just not ready maybe for a personal trainer. So you could do that first, get familiar with the gym, start 30 minutes on cardio, then 10, then 20, then 30 minutes in resistance training. Then you have a full hour now, and then you can work your way up that way. Then you start with an hour once a week. Then you bump up to twice a week, an hour, 10 minutes, hour, 20 minutes. And you keep bumping up until you find that nice amount of time that you like. You don't need to do 5 days because a lot of people, especially because of social media and others telling them, people think they need to come in every single day to, especially to see results. No, it's just that if you come in more, you might see results faster. So that's the thing.
And I would like to add my own experience. I was one of those crazy dudes that first started their fitness journey overtraining on cardio a bit. I
Oh yeah.
watched a lot of David Goggins
Oh no.
motivational videos, and I just did
Oh,
cardio like crazy. But
David Gong is a different type of guy. He's something else. He's something.
uh, it was a it was an interesting experience though. It did help me like with my wrestling training a bit,
Yeah,
like not to get gassed. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend going that if you're not doing like athletics. I wouldn't recommend doing overtraining in cardio. It's just crazy.
definitely not. Yeah, just start off small and then you work your way to the muscles because you want to build up your muscles. You want to get stronger overall. So, and then remember, everything you're doing in the gym is supposed to reflect back into real world. So you want to get stronger so you can be able to pick up heavy things around the house, or be able to actually, if you wasn't able to, be able to move again, be able to pick up heavy things, be able to if something was to happen outside or something in general, you'd be able to move and get out of the way or stuff like that, and not hurt yourself. That's the biggest thing. And then also to any pains, any aches you have, usually it's because of our sedentary lifestyle, sitting around all the time. So it's great to just at least once a week. You don't need to do it every day. You don't need to feel pressured every day. Find your mesh, find what's great for you. In a sense, me personally, I work out about 3 to 4 times a week. I used to work out 6, and that was too much for me. I realized I was overtraining, and I was literally having signs of overtraining, stuff like diarrhea, vomiting, stuff like that. So I dropped
Diarrhea.
it down. Yes, if you overtrain too much, if you push yourself to certain limits, your body will literally try and force you to stop working out. You might, it would seem like
I've
a
never
stomach
had
virus in a
diarrhea.
sense. That's good. That means you never overtrained in a sense. Like, to the point you could have diarrhea, you could vomit,
Stomach aches, but never diarrhea.
stomach aches, obviously, but like stomach aches usually because you're just pushing really hard. That can happen regularly throughout the workouts. But like diarrhea, lightheadedness, fainting, vomiting, stuff like that. Extreme fatigue, not like fatigue after the workout, but fatigue where you feel like you're gonna get sick, a fever. These are symptoms that you might get when you're overtraining or doing too much, and your body is like drastically trying to stop you and change things and fix things. But yeah.
So what's your like 5 year plan as a personal trainer? What are your goals and future aspirations?
So 5 year plan is definitely to at least, so that's where it's rough because I still want to stay at least in the Blink in Parkchester, at least in some way, shape, or form, and still help that community. But I definitely want to branch out into a bigger gym or bigger area, and then work there, and then maybe either within 5 or 10 years be able to open up our own facility, own gym itself. And then if
Nice.
that was possible, then that would be great. And then just work from there in a sense.
We'll probably get into that partnership together,
No,
hopefully.
yeah. So that would be something that would be the goal for 5 to 10 years. But I would love for it to be around the Bronx, or at least somewhere around this area in a sense. Not, so I can stay with the local community. That would be the goal.
Yes, serving the Bronx is yes a wonderful thing. It's something that I love doing here at the Bronx Net. And yes, serving the community of the Bronx. It's a beautiful community that we both grew up in, and we yes love the community.
Yeah.
Man, we strive to protect and nourish our community because it's a community that saw us grow up, and it's yes the beauty of being here in the Bronx Net. We provide great entertainment for the people of the Bronx and a great education as well. And yeah, the Blink Fitness is yes a wonderful community. The Blink Fitness of Parkchester, all the guys and ladies out there, the mood lifters, great people. You're always there lifting up the moods of your client. You're with your
We try. We
educated
try.
background. And no, you're a very nice guy, Joel. Don't he's just
Course,
serious
we
right now,
try
but he's
though. You
very
never
nice.
know though. Sometimes people be having a bad day, so you try your best. Also, I try my best not to make it just training. I try and connect with my clients usually. So yeah, so if you're having a bad, I try my best to cheer you up, or try my best to at least cheer you out, or change up the. If you're having a bad day, maybe we might not go as intense today because maybe things happen in life, and you can't control that. And so yeah, you just have to adapt.
Yeah, so as I was saying earlier, shout out to all the mood lifters out there. Shout out to the manager, Melody, a great person, a person that personifies great female leadership in her community. And yes, a great manager, a great gym manager that has a keen eye for detail around there. So, yeah, all the guys out there and ladies out there. This other trainer, Roberto, who's a
Oh
great
yeah.
trainer as well, a great guy. I'll probably have him as well on this podcast and interview him. on fitness, and I heard he's a great like wrestling fan, so we'll probably ask him some
Oh,
wrestling
that's gonna be
questions.
interesting.
And it's a great community out there in Blink, and I love the community. And it's when if you're starting out your fitness journey in the Parkchester area, that's the place to be, Blink Fitness. So this has been the Boogie Down Beat Down episode, covering the Blink Fitness at Parkchester. And see you guys around. This has been Tony Marcano, El Mero Mero Papa, the caramel cunning linguist himself, the greatest orator in the wrestling business, and my good friend Joel Daly.
Thanks for having me.